Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Loud and for fuck's sake. Hang on a second. I've got to I have to get to the desktop site, so I don't know if my mic is still gonna work. Uh, Give me 1 second. I'm gonna click this. I'm probably gonna drop out for just a second, and hopefully when I pop back in, this will still work. Hang on 1 second, because if it doesn't work, I won't be able to. I won't be able to drop the link. So hang on for 1 second. Let's see. Okay, is it still working? Doesn't show that it is. I don't know why it's not showing. Oh, I know. Can you still hear me? It can do hear you fine. Can you still hear me after your last comment, Kiss My Ex? Oh, okay, perfect. All right. What's happening? It is super, super early in the morning here. 5:15 a.m. I woke up at 4:30 ish. I'm about to get ready to go to work. Ugh. I would like to sleep more, but I can't sleep in until Saturday. Mm, I love, love, love owls. I'm not a big bird person, but if I could have owls, an owl or two, I would totally, I would totally have an owl. On my YouTube shorts, there was a video yesterday of a cute snow owl like running across this woman's kitchen floor. It was the most adorable thing I think I've ever seen. Me too. Useless little shits wake me up. Do you feed them? Can you feed them? So there's baby owls in the loft that look like gray aliens. No, I haven't seen that one yet. I have not seen that one yet. So listen, check this out. I have got this theory, right, about the Summer Wells case. Do you want to hear it? Actually, I wish I knew more about Don Wells' criminal history and where he was at in the late '90s. Um, okay, kiss my ex. I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm not. I'm pretty sure this isn't a worldwide thing. I think it's just specific here to the United States. But we have what's called Amber Alerts uh, here in the United States, and those Amber Alerts are issued for missing children. Right? I'm not sure what the age restriction is or whatever. I do know they have pretty tight regulations on when and how or why, when and why they'll they'll issue them. Like it has to be pretty much believed by law enforcement that the child was abducted, not a runaway, things like that. So, anyways, I do know, uh, I don't know when, but I do know that Don Wells was done for trafficking from Mexico, right? And I'm assuming that this was in the late '90s, which means that he would have had to have traveled through Texas, right? At some point when he was living in, I believe it was Utah or whatever. But the Amber Alerts are named after a girl named Amber Hagerman. Okay, she was 9 years old and she was abducted in January of 1996 out of Saginaw, Texas, which is west of Fort Worth. I'm in Dallas. Fort Worth is kind of, well, not kind of. It's very rural, if you will. Even to this day, it's very rural. I mean, there is a downtown. There's a lot of neighborhoods, you know, uh, uh, residential neighborhoods that are spread out. But as far as like the landscape and all of that, it's not near as old as Dallas, but it's very spread out. It's very rural. Anyways, Amber Hagerman was riding her bicycle in a parking lot, like a strip mall parking lot, just right next to her house. In January of '96, she was abducted.
Uh, obviously some very bad things happened to her. They found her body 4 days later. The only description that has ever been given of her, of her abductor, is, well, nobody saw, a man, obviously, but all they have is the description of a truck with no license plate number. That's it. They've never caught this guy. Okay. Now, I was in another chat yesterday on another channel, and I've been having, ever since Summer went missing, I've been having this nagging feeling in the back of my mind, in the pit of my stomach, that this case is going to lead to the abductor of Amber Hagerman. Good morning, Abby. Good morning, baby. How are you? Love you. It's just me. You can kiss my ex. Voodoo Queen said good morning. Anyways, I wonder, and I've been trying to find out, if Dawn Wells was in Texas in January of 1996. Because if you think about it, that description of that red truck that everybody calls a red herring in that case, it just makes me wonder, he was done and for trafficking out of Mexico in the 90s, but I can't seem to figure out a date. Because my ex said good morning. Anyways, it just makes you wonder, it makes me wonder, is he responsible also? Because how many years ago was that? 1996. That would have been 4 plus 1 is 5, so that would have been 25 years ago. And okay, yeah, 26, coming up on 26 years ago. He's 56. So he would have been 30 years old. Was there any DNA evidence found on Amber? Hey, Sharon. Hey, Sharon, how's it going? I don't know. I don't think so. Last year, or earlier this year, obviously, was the 25th anniversary. And in fact, it was right when, back in January. So it was right before Summer Wells went missing. And I can't remember what county Fort Worth is. Not Harris, that's Houston. Anyways, the county sheriff, came out, because he's been the sheriff that long, and he came out and was talking about, how there've been no new leads in the case, and they're never going to rest until they find Amber's abductor, and hopefully, hopefully they would get some new leads, and they were asking anybody that may have been in the area if they could remember the truck that was seen and all that. But let's see. Hey, Lisa. I'm just wondering, because if he's been in prison, do you take DNA from all prisoners like they do here in the UK? Well, me myself, I've never been to prison. I don't know if they do that. If you're in there, if you're doing like 2 or 3 years for like marijuana distribution or something like that, I don't know that they're going to take your DNA. But then again, everybody has to go through like a medical, whatever. Who knows what they do? I don't know. So anyways, Do I? No. Let's see. Lisa said, I think they do kiss my ex. They even take DNA here just for an arrest. Well, you guys got to remember, like what Bam says, you could fit the entire UK into the corner of Texas. This is a big country. Prison's a big industry, yeah, it would probably differ from state to state, I would imagine. Us Americans, we like to think that, we can, like, if you're a prison official and stuff, I mean, it's just like the American ego. Yeah, 400 million people, that's not that many people. We don't have to worry about DNA testing every single person. If you're not suspected of a crime, why bother? I mean, that's, yeah. Hmm. Well, that's what I'm saying. There would be no, I mean, everything is to the cheapest bidder. Why would you waste money DNA testing everybody? Private corporations. Are you sure about that? Gotcha. Well, here in Texas, there's several privately run prisons for the state. They're contractors for the state. Let's see what's being said here. My friend, is that supposed to be tweeted? I don't know. Kiss my ex. My friend twatted her neighbor, and she was DNA'd even though no charges were brought. Gotcha. Okay. I would imagine. Well, Lisa said, imagine they take DNA to enter it into a central system. Well, I mean, that's probably true, Lisa. That's a good point. I mean, all I'm saying is, think about what you're saying. They commit crimes in prison, so it's either on CCTV. Yeah, well, right. I mean, yeah, rape is a big one. Prison is a big industry in the U.S., isn't it? Yes, it is. It really is. Well, Lisa, like I said before, that a lot of states have privately contract out their prison system. See, what the city of Dallas did was Dallas County. Well, because people catch charges, right? That's what they call it, catching a charge. And because in the state of Texas, right, yeah, catching the flu, catching a charge, right? In the state of Texas, they give you 3 days for every 1 day that you serve, unless it's like the highest class felony, and or something like that, or a federal charge or whatever. Obviously, if it's federal, you're not going to be doing time in Texas. Well, you may, because there's a couple federal prisons here, but I'll get a video of her later. Put her up. What's she doing? Come here, Abby. Come here, sugar. Oh, gotta love on the dog. Oh, babies, good morning. She's like, good morning, everybody. She's being shy. She doesn't want to go inside. She's like, no, I don't want to go inside. Anyway, sorry guys. What was I saying? Anyway, in the state of Texas, for most, for all misdemeanors and the majority of felonies, as long as you're good when you're in prison, they'll give you 3 days or 2 days for every one day that you serve. And so if you get 5 years, right? I mean, if it's 2 days for every one, out in 2.5, well, the prisons are so overpopulated. What they did in Dallas County, where I live, what they did was they built what was called a state jail uh, right across the street from the Dallas County jail. And so anybody that had less than 5 years of a sentence that they didn't want to waste the resources, up here in Dallas, we call it going down south, which is to Huntsville, which is where the prisons are along I-45 north of Houston in Conroe, Texas. Thank you, baby. And they put them in that state jail. Well, that was a privately contracted jail. And the conditions were so bad because the Dallas County Sheriff's Department was not the ones that were actually running the jail. Their police union had employees in that jail, but it was so bad that the state came in and shut it down. And so now there's a I don't know 16 or 18 story eyesore in southern Dallas that I think at one time some celebrity was thinking about buying and turning it into a pot factory once they legalized marijuana here in Texas, but hasn't happened yet. So, okay, let's see. Kiss My Ex said, is there any way you could trace his movements back then? I don't know. I have my phone and a tablet. I need to get on Voodoo Queen's laptop, and then I could probably find out a little bit easier. I tried searching some yesterday, but I've been having that sneaking suspicion about that, since Summer disappeared. I mean, the whole thing, the whole family history with that dude and the grandma's brother and all. I mean, it's just disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And it was the fact that he threw out there about that truck. It just that's what stuck in my mind. I thought, okay, this dude, if he really is guilty, of Summer's disappearance, and he had something to do with Amber Hagerman's disappearance, then he knows just how he knows he I don't know how to explain it. He knows just how to throw that theory out there that, oh well, somebody saw a truck and blah blah blah. Now here's what I want to know. I want to know if there's any actual pictures. That live I was in, or that channel I was watching yesterday, there was 300 something people in there, and nobody seemed to be able to come up with any pictures. But I thought, I could swear 60, 70, maybe 80 days ago, I could swear I saw a picture of that truck. Now, I don't know if it was the media found a picture of a red pickup truck with a ladder rack on it and said, we're looking for a truck that looks like this, or I don't know if it was an actual picture of the truck, but I don't know, because that was along the same lines of description of a truck, not the color, of course, in Amber Hagerman's abduction. But if I'm remembering correctly, they were saying that the truck had a ladder, looked like a work truck that abducted Amber Hagerman. I wonder if he's got any tickets on file for driving offenses or anything. Well, I don't know, Kiss My Axe. I know that at some point in time in the late, they call it, or what was told to me was the late 90s, he was traveling between Mexico, which Texas, right, and Utah. And I do know that I know I heard in an interview that Don Wells said that he had been to prison for trafficking drugs. Well, I mean, if he went to prison in Utah or Wisconsin and he trafficked drugs, he had to have come through the state of Texas. I don't know. Amber Hagerman. I know. There's a lot of cases out there, right? Orrin and Orson West, and but Amber. A lot of people don't. I mean, they say Amber Alerts and they don't even think about Amber Hagerman. Her murderer has never been found. So it wouldn't shock me if Don Wells was responsible for Amber Hagerman's murder. You think about it, right? You always, in my mind, I think about it. People that get away with shit like that. We say it all the time, right? Karma's going to come back and bite you in the ass, right? And I kind of feel like, I'm praying that they find Summer, but I'm also praying at the same time, this motherfucker has gotten away, whoever Amber Hagerman's abductor is, this motherfucker has gotten away with it as far as we know, right? It could be anybody, but it could also be Don Wells. Let's see what you guys are saying. Do you know who he reminds me of? Especially his eyes, that Donald Smith who murdered Cherish. I don't know who that is. Kiss my axe. I'll have to look that up and see. Donald Smith, was that in the UK or was that elsewhere? Kiss my axe. Cherish Periwinkle. I'm sure it was Florida. I'll have to look it up. I'm not aware of that one. I'm assuming they caught that guy, Donald Smith. I tell you, Florida's a fucked up place. I mean, it's got beautiful beaches and everything, but good God, I mean, a lot of shit goes down in Florida. Florida is I think the Casey Anthony case, thank you, honey, really tarnished Florida's image for law and order. At least here in the United States it did. Cherish Periwinkle, that was horrendous. Donald Smith got the death penalty. Yeah, I don't know anything about the death penalty in Florida. I don't know how many prisoners. I need to look that up and see. I know I'm fairly certain that Texas puts more people to death every year than any other state. In Florida, Voodoo Queen is saying that stays of execution is what screws things up, and I guess in their separate state supreme courts, but they. Right, yeah, that holds up the death sentence, but they don't believe in that in Texas. That inmates on death row in Texas don't get stays of execution. Well, I think was it Carla who am I thinking of? What was her name? Carla Faye Tucker, something like that. I think she got a couple of stays of execution. Darlie Routier has had a couple of stays of execution, but let's see, she just pulled something up for me. Those photos show the current 101 inmates from a 14-county area of Central Florida on Florida's death row as of November 7th, 2020. There were 339 total death row inmates. Can you look up number of executions per year? Let's see. Serco, but who are Serco, a security firm, Lisa, but they have their fingers in many pies. Interesting. Do they do, does Serco do military security? I wonder, Sharon? That would be interesting to find out. Let's see, Serco are running everything here now. The migrants coming over the channel, prison transportation, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I wonder if they're like, I wonder if they're like Halliburton or Schlumberger. Those are oil companies, but surprisingly enough, they are also in the private security sector as well. Obviously, to protect their interests in the Middle East, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, probable. Right. Yeah, that'd be fine. Good morning to everybody as well. I'm about to have to get ready for work, so I'm not going to be on here much longer. What Voodoo Queen is looking up is she's looking up number of executions in the state of Florida. 32. Look up Texas. I guarantee you Texas has executed 32 inmates thus far this year. You know, honestly, I don't expect the death penalty to last much longer, to be honest with you. First 2 years, what do you mean? In Texas? Yeah. Yeah, Texas executes just about everybody. Hey, John, how's it going, man? Yeah, 30 in the last 2 years for Texas. 32 in the last 10 in Florida, by the way. 103 for the last. Yeah, I'm sure every state in the United States has this saying, but we have 100, and how long? In 10 years, 123. I bet it's slowed down, if anything. Yeah, 2010 was 2009. There were 24. I didn't count that year. In 2010, there were 17. But yeah, you're right, it slowed down. Yeah, I mean Texas. So yeah, that's what I was saying. Is that Texas executes probably an average of 25 per year. Yeah, 2000. Yep. Yeah. I used to really be. Listen, we execute. Yeah, I mean the saying that yes, don't mess with Texas, right? Yeah. Yeah. The other saying is, welcome to Texas. Come on vacation, leave on probation. Yeah, Texas does not mess around. Uh, yeah. And like I said, I'm sure every state has that saying, but you know, we mean it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I used to really be into that stuff in the early 2000s, late 90s. Uh, yes, death penalty. Yep, that's right. That's right. And on deathpenaltyinfo.org, you can find links to pages where people have set up for death row inmates to have pen pals, and that's the one I was telling you about. Yeah, 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 yeah. That shit just interests the hell out of me. Their stories. I mean, yeah, I never would have considered myself a true crime enthusiast, but I tell you, from like 1999 or so on, I mean, fuck, from 2012 to 2016, I was glued to the Information Discovery Network. I mean, you talk about binge watching crime. Oh my God. Yeah, it is insane. Careful, honey, you're going to step into a rabbit hole. It's a huge rabbit hole, she says. Let's see. John Leahy says, I dated a Texan once. She left a sticker on my guitar case. Don't mess with Texas women. Right. That's awesome. Yeah. Don't mess with Texas women. I like that. Actually, "Don't mess with Texas" was a slogan from for litter from the '80s. Yeah, people had "Don't mess with Texas" stickers, and they had "Mad" stickers, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. That was when they made it illegal. That was our but what we call our open container laws. You could no longer have an open container of alcohol in your vehicle. I think that was like 1984, maybe 86, something like that. Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And now, isn't it amazing? I don't know how it is over there in the UK, but uh, now, you can get like booze in a cup at like a drive-through. I know it. I can't believe. It's insane. I can't. Well, I mean, look, Oklahoma, which is just north of state north of Texas. I mean, the Native American population. I mean, their laws have been ridiculous regarding alcohol and Native Americans, because Native Americans supposedly, the way that it's perceived there, uh, by the judicial system, is they're problematic because they're known drunks and drug addicts, right? I mean, and it's unfair treatment. But I shit you not, if you go to Oklahoma and my dad lives in Oklahoma, and you stop at a convenience store that's outside of like an oil city, like a oil town, I guess, and you stop at that convenience store and just sit there for a few minutes and watch. All the people that pull up in the parking lot, the majority of them are women. And the guy, it doesn't matter what color, race, it doesn't matter. The guy is sitting in the fucking passenger seat. No, it's not that he's drunk. He can't fucking drive because he's got his fucking license revoked or whatever. They may be drunk. I don't know. But it's amazing to sit there and watch it and be like, like, why the fuck is that? Why are all the girls driving? Or women? You want to look at it? Well, some of them are young. I mean, Let's see. Noticed in Canada they get treated quite badly, but they turned it around with those casinos. Well, are you? Lisa, are you talking about the Native Americans? Or, well, I guess they can't be called Native Americans if they're in Canada. Now, can they? Native Canadians. Native Canadians, I suppose. I don't either. Right. We need a Canadian in here. They have the casinos, well, Lisa, in Oklahoma as well. In fact, I believe all the casinos in Oklahoma are on native lands, reservations. Yeah, reservations is what we call them. Yeah, it's kind of amazing how segregated we kind of still are over here. You know, some is by choice. It's definitely not. It's not as rampant as the mainstream media would have the rest of the world believe. But in some places, it is. But those places are definitely few and far between. Who needs an accent when you're Xing someone, right? Accent. You should have spelled that with an X, two X's. Accent. All right, guys. Yeah, so that's my theory. Oh well, not theory. Man, I tell you, that Summer Wells case is just sickening. It's just sickening. They're all sickening. Gannon Stouch, I don't really know how to pronounce his last name, but all of them are just gross. But the fact that what we want is closure, right? That's what we want. Yeah, exactly. Return safely. Like, I would rather believe that some fucking YouTube criminal circle, right, has just been holding her for the last 100 and some odd days, and then they all get busted up, and she goes to a safe foster home or something like that, and nothing's bad has happened to her. I would rather believe that than believe what I fear is the truth of the matter, but what I truly do hope and pray is that Summer's fate can bring closure to not only everybody that gives a shit, but hopefully can bring closure to another case. And I just can't help but wonder if that case is Amber Hagerman. I choke up a little bit every time I think about that. I remember that day in January 1996 when she went missing, and I remember the public outcry for some kind of system for authorities to be able to do something. And it took a couple of years, but they eventually came up with the Amber Alert system, and that's who it's named after. And like I said, her killer has never been found. And as I was telling Kiss My Axe earlier before all you guys came in, there's just an awful lot of similarities between Don Wells' story, him hanging on to that truck theory, and if you go and you research Amber Hagerman's case, you'll see what I'm saying and what I'm talking about. Yeah, well, Lisa, the vultures surrounding them are sickening. Yes, they're disgusting, absolutely disgusting. This is exactly what BAM has been saying all along, and the length that they will go to protect their quote unquote investment, right? That's what's so disgusting about it. But yeah, I hope and I pray, that closure comes to Summer, for Summer Wells's case, and I hope it leads to doesn't have to be Amber, but anybody else's case as well. Anybody with that kind of history and with that lengthy of a record, there's no effing way that all the victims are known. There's just no way. It's not. It's possible, but it's not probable, in my opinion. So, all right, guys. Well, I got to get off here and go to work. So, hopefully, I will see you. I thought Bam's ma'am had said yesterday that Bam was going to do some crime readings for us. She didn't do it yesterday, so hoping and praying she does it today. I don't know about you guys, but when I don't get my Bam fix, I start getting a little squirrely. Anyways, all right, guys. Well, thanks for being here, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Yes, thank you, Shaw. Yeah, it was good to see you guys too. Well, Dorothy gets some rest. Dorothy's been on some marathons, hasn't she? last couple nights. I don't know if she's gotten any sleep. I hope she gets some sleep. All right, you guys. I'll see you around. Take care.